Yo, what's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. It's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United with another cheeky little video for you. I hope you're all having a good day today. Tuesday today, bit of a melancholy feeling after that gash performance last night for Manchester United, of course, drawing away at Newcastle, piss poor, really gash performance. Well, there's a bit of news that has swung in off the vine this morning, guys, or just now. So we got some breaking news, which we're going to get into in a moment. But at the start of this stream, shout out to Wiggy, Cool Homies, Primot, Steve Hall, Carabao Limbo, Talk MU, all the early birds getting in here. Thank you very much for joining us. Do us a big favor, actually, smash the thumbs up button on this video. Give it a share around social media as well if you can. That always helps us out. And if you're on catch up watching this back later on, then do get your thoughts down below in the comment section, and also smash that thumbs up button as well. Let's be having you. So we got to get into it then, guys. Anthony Martial, wants to leave Manchester United. We know this. Manchester United have just rejected an offer of a loan deal for Tony Martial until the end of the season. So a straightforward loan proposal from Sevilla, which would have the player basically going to Sevilla for the remainder of the season, with them covering a percentage of his wages. So no initial fees, not 100% of the wages being covered here. And Manchester United have said no. They have rejected the offer from Sevilla. So that is the situation as it is. United not playing ball there. Obviously, Tony Martial's wages are massive for the player that he is, somewhere in the region of 150 to 200,000 pounds a week. This guy's on, which is an absolute shambles, really. But that is the situation. So nobody really wants to pay those sorts of wages. So United, really, if we want to get rid of Tony Martial, we're going to have to take that on the chin a little bit and get rid of him maybe and pay some of his wages. I think that's a realistic possibility. He's just on too much money, this guy, for the bang average player that he is. So he's priced out the market in one respect, like most of our bloody players are. Nobody wants Phil Jones either. We couldn't sell Harry Maguire tomorrow if we needed to, because they're all on too much bloody money. So that is how it is, guys. Tony Martial to Sevilla is looking likely this window, coming up January window. But in terms of the amount of money, that's being put on the table here for Sevilla, it's probably not going to be too much money. So this is the latest news, guys. By the way, smash a 1 in the live chat if I'm coming through loud and clear. Do let me know if I am. Also, get your thoughts and opinions in throughout the show. Obviously, it's a fully interactive show. We want to hear from you throughout. Get your opinions and thoughts in about any of the topics we're discussing in this video. So let me just have a look at the latest headlines or updates. So BBC reporting, Simon Stone, just over half an hour ago, that Tony Martial, that Manchester United have rejected Sevilla's loan offer for the striker. It reads, Manchester United have rejected a loan offer from Sevilla for Tony Martial. On Wednesday, the France striker told interim boss Ralf Rangnick that he wants to leave the club. However, Rangnick said that will only happen if a deal presents itself that suits United. Sevilla thought they could get Martial during January's transfer window, but it's understood the offer only covered half of his wages, which are thought to be around £150,000 a week. What? Tony Martial's on a ridiculous amount of money for the player that he is, as we knew anyway. As most of United players are, they get given so much so soon, and it really doesn't make any sense. But there you go anyway. So he's on 150k a week minimum, this guy. It says United are yet to decide if they will let Martial leave on loan in the first place, and they will only do so for a deal that brings in a loan fee and covers all of the players' wages. Well, in reality, I think United might be asking a little bit too much there. I know Tony Martial's a good player, but if they're looking for a few million up front, plus all of his extremely high wages paid, that's going to be a little bit difficult because, like I say, we pay all of our players too much money. We've priced him out of the market almost. So I think United are going to have to cover a few £1,000 a week of his wages, surely. Maybe not. Maybe Sevilla will want the player. Look, there's no initial fee really in terms of a transfer fee. It's just a short-term loan deal. Yeah, 1.5 million up front is a bit of a kick in the bollocks for them or whatever. But, for a 6-month loan deal, it's really not that bad. And then the wages on top, let's say it is 150k a week. It's kind of affordable. But at the same time, is it worth it? Well, for a performer who doesn't really turn up most of the time, you're not guaranteed to get any return on that. So I would be a bit reluctant if I was Sevilla to cover all of his wages and pay a hefty fee up front as well. But anyway, so, United want to get this guy gone, really. Ralf Rangnick has, said what he said, really, in the press recently about Tony Martial's situation, saying that he doesn't really, want away players here. And obviously, the situation does depend on what offers come in. So unfortunately, Tony Martial's wages will complicate any deal. This is an update from ESPN as well. Manchester United have rejected Sevilla's loan offer for Tony Martial. The offer only covered half of his wages. And so, Sevilla going in there with a low offer to sort of get the ball rolling here. That's all this is. It doesn't mean that Sevilla's, not going to come back with a second offer. And it doesn't mean that Tony's going to stay here. Probably the most likely thing is Tony goes to Sevilla in the January window on loan with maybe an option to buy or just a season-long loan. But they do end up having to improve their offer with an initial fee and maybe improve the wages offer. So that's the most likely, guys. I mean, Tony Martial gone. What do you guys think about this? I mean, we've heard that United's position right now is we still haven't even decided whether we want to let Tony go or not. That apparently is the position. You look at some of the underperformers in the team recently. I mean, Greenwood's not exactly been setting the world alight. Rashford's been piss poor. Tony Martial given a chance. Maybe he could do something. Probably not, though. So I'll ask the live chat really quick. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Tony. What do you think we should do with Tony Martial? Do you think we should, keep him for the rest of the season? Or do you think we should let him go to Sevilla or wherever and let him go out on loan for the rest of the season, get some game time, play some football, and actually, doesn't really hurt us too much because he never plays anyway. Get your thoughts and opinions in, guys. Keep or sell, keep or sell. Hey there, Roshmano. What's going on? Hey, Talk MU. Bernard squad battles. Martial is dog shit, says Bernard squad battles. Well, a little bit harsh, but he has been piss poor for United. Dogery says your voice is low. Is it? Smash a 1 in the live chat if my voice is low. Smash a 2 if it's okay. Sorry, let us know. Maybe you mean my voice is low this morning. I haven't been up too long, mate. This is early morning for me. I just rolled out of bed, looked at the news, and got on this video. So, so maybe that's it. If he wants out, then bye, says Steve Hall. Sell, says Solskjaer 1999. Loved him, but it's time to go. Yeah, fair play. Okay, guys. Oh, okay, we are coming through. Okay, then. Thank you very much. Right, so Ralph Rangnick obviously told us that he wants to leave the club. Sevilla have put in an offer which is expected to be about half of his £150,000 to £200,000 a week wages to cover half of his wages. United are yet to decide whether we want to let him leave at all. But certainly it would only be for a deal that brings in some sort of a fee up front, plus covering all of his wages. It seems like that. I think United might have to bend a little bit on that, but they're certainly going to want the majority of his wages covered. So this guy, we paid 36 million for him, plus there was add-ons and stuff like that for this guy. At the time, he was the world's most expensive teenage footballer, which is, pretty mad, really. He did come in instantly and it sort of set the world alight for a brief period. And he sort of had flashes of moments of brilliance at times. But most of the time, he's just been Billy Bang average for United. He scored 79 goals in 268 appearances for the Red Devils, which isn't bad if he was just playing out on the wing. But unfortunately, the last couple of seasons, he's been given the number 9. And he hasn't really performed. But, 79 goals in 268 appearances is respectable. This guy's played 268 times for Manchester United. That's pretty mad, really. But he has obviously sort of fallen by the wayside recently. He wasn't featuring in Solskjaer's plans much towards the end of his time here. And he also, hasn't featured really under Ralph Rangnick here. So definitely wants away from the club. He doesn't feel like he's getting any game time and opportunities here, which is fair enough because he's not. He deserves to go and play some football somewhere else. Hopefully a club comes in and is prepared to take him in January. We don't really lose anything by letting him go. In fact, in some ways, yeah, okay, we lose a bit of depth, I suppose, but in some ways it gives opportunities to some other youngsters. Alanga's just signed a new deal. Or there's people like Ahmad, there's lots of different youngsters who could be given opportunities if Tony Martial isn't on the books in the dressing room being paid a couple $100,000 a week. So it's good for the overall squad, I think, to get this guy gone. But he's not featured in any games since Rangnick took charge and has made just 10 appearances in all competitions this season. So from his point of view, you can understand why he wants to leave. And from United's point of view, there's no point in having a once-away player and somebody that's just not part of your plans. It seems there's a few other players like that we'll have to assess. We don't know what Donny van der Beek's role in the squad's going to be under Rangnick, etc. So we have to wait and see what goes on. There's question marks over Jesse. But right now, Anthony Martial, looking very likely that he will go and join Sevilla in this January window, or certainly go out on loan somewhere. It's just who wants to put in the offer and cover the amount of money that Manchester United are looking for. So Sky Sports reporting that Sevilla make loan offer to Manchester United to sign forward for the rest of the season. And Sevilla have made an offer to Manchester United to sign Anthony Martial on loan. It is a straight loan proposal until the end of the season. That does not include an option to buy or an obligation to buy. So there's no, there's nothing in the contract here. It's just a straightforward loan. That's what's been rejected by United. Now, maybe we would like some sort of an offer in the contract, a clause that states, we can have an option to buy him for £40 million or something like that. And maybe Sevilla would like to take that option up at the end of the season. Or it's an option they don't have an obligation to buy. And we could, but that should probably be in the contract. If you want to get rid of this guy, then an option to buy makes sense. And it doesn't really mean that they have to buy him. They're not committed to him. It's not an obligation to buy. So if I was Manchester United, what I'd be trying to do here is, you can get a fee for Martial up front. I'm not even bothered about that myself. I'd just say, look, just take him on loan, pay 100% of his wages, and with an option to buy £40 million at the end of the season. If you like what you see, have him. If not, he comes back to us and we send him for somebody else or do something else with him. So that's what I'd like to see done. I'd like to see us loan him out to Sevilla for the remainder of the season, but hopefully try and sell him ultimately, because we're trying to raise some money as well. But in this January window, I suppose it doesn't really help us too much. We need to get players gone in order to bring in midfield. I think that's pretty clear. You see that performance yesterday against Newcastle? It was one of the shittest midfield performances we've seen all season. And under Rangnick, hopefully that will change soon. But if it is going to change, I think he's going to need a bit of help. He's going to need to get some player that he wants. A player like we talked about, some of the players that he's had dealings with in the past, such as Haidara, or there's this young Kamara. Some of these players that are linked to United in midfield. We've got to go and get them. So I think getting players off the books, saving money on wages. Tony Martial is paid somewhere in the region of £600,000 to £800,000 a month. That's fucking insane amounts of money that's coming out of this football club every single month for a player who's not even in the team, doesn't even play. And when he does play, he's gash. So that's a huge amount of money that you're just losing out on right there. So, yes, you could use that money better on other players to pay wages for somebody else in the midfield position. And then obviously selling a player like Jesse Lingard as well in the Jan window, generating a few £1 million, plus getting another player off your wages. It could justify a bit of spend. I don't think United are going to spend big in this January window, even though we should. We should probably sign 2 centre mids and a centre back in this window, to be fair, to replace that slab. But we won't. I think we'll keep it pretty low key this January window. You might see players going out. There's a few players we could see going out. Dean Henderson is another player that probably wants to go out on loan because he's not getting any game time, any action here. United might like to keep him for the future. There's question marks over him. Tony Martial is definitely one as well. So United could clear up a little bit of space, make some room, get some money off the books, and also have enough just to generate a bit to get one of these younger, cheaper, hungrier players who will hopefully come in and ruffle some feathers in United's midfield. So United are yet to find a suitable deal for Tony Martial with Sevilla right now. This is early negotiations though, so Sevilla more than likely to come back with another offer at some point over the next coming days. The window opens on the 1st, obviously, but over the next couple of days to try and improve this offer for Tony. Either that or they're just not that interested. But I think, of course, what they're trying to do is get him for as little amount of money as possible here on loan. So they've gone in with a low offer, nothing up front, 50% of his wages, just to test the waters, really, and see what Manchester United's thinking is and if they would accept any sort of a lesser deal than all of his wages. Because let's face it, Tony Martial is on a ridiculous amount of money for the player that he is. You'd think he was one of the world's best on a couple £100,000 a week, or not the world's best, but one of United's best on a couple £100,000 a week. But he's actually not. He's actually a very bang average player for United on a consistent basis. So very annoying. Very annoying that we even give people this money. Why do we give players so much money? That's what I would like to know. Some players deserve it. Of course, some players deserve it. But you really do need to earn it before you get given it too soon. He's another fine example of Manchester United just dishing out huge wages to players that don't really deserve it. Phil No Bones Jones, in all of them. Most of these players, Jesse Lingard is on 6 figures a week, that guy. So, you consider that. You consider some of the amount of money that we've paid to players recently, and we do price them out the market. It's very hard to get rid of them off the books. By the way, I want to give a shout out to everybody that's in here. Rushmano, AK, Premont, how you doing? Says Woodward gave out a lot of bad contracts. Yeah, Woodward, an absolute human potato of a man. You're spot on. He has obviously completely destroyed the wage structure of this football club, I think, since he's been here as well. Not just by putting people like Alexis Sanchez on $500,000, but also, like you say, by just tying players down to long-term contracts on big money who are really not that good. Think about the Phil Jones situation, because imagine trying to sell Phil Jones tomorrow. He doesn't play. He's shot for confidence. He's got no track record over the last couple of years whatsoever of playing top-tier football at all. So nobody really would want to pay over £100,000 a week or whatever the amount of money he's on. He's on huge money, Phil Jones, for the player that he is. And nobody else would pay that in their right mind. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you're stuck with him. But what's really weird about it is that he's on a really long-term deal. So it's like you're stuck with him for years. So you're just using that money. That money's being used up as a resource. It's ridiculous. And you can't even sell him because nobody else would be crazy enough to spend that sort of money on him. Even Newcastle United. The only way I could see Man United selling Phil Jones ever is if we did some sort of a, we will pay 50% of his wages for the remainder of his contract and just take the hit. That's the only way I could see Phil going, because he's priced out the market. That's what we do with our players at United. It's so piss poor. Think about Dean Henderson. Okay, Dean Henderson had a decent season at Sheffield United, a couple of seasons, but a decent season in the Prem. All of a sudden, he gets given $130,000 a week contract. It's like, steady on, mate. We haven't even, David De Gea's our number one. We're just fucking handing out cash like it's going out of fashion. So I don't understand what they're doing there, to be fair. I feel like you need to earn it more at United before you're given a new contract. I mean, I don't know what Alanga's new contract is at United, but 5-year deal, and he's only 19, to commit his future that long, it must be pretty decent whack. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying there's certain players that don't. So United need to be very careful and spend our money more wisely. We've just thrown money down the crapper really over the last few years with Woodward at the wheel. Okay, so yeah, thank you, by the way. Solskjaer99, PS Gamers, cool homies, how you doing? Max Arentz, Haroli's in here. What's going on, Haroli? Big God Bob, yes. Must Play, Bernard, Sam, Oliver, Sports Further, mate. How you doing today? Get in there. Some of you early birds, great to see you. Declan K, yeah, Harry Maguire's in here. Do one, you slab. He says Woodward is an absolute muppet. Coming from you, Harry. You're looking liability land. Look what you did to us yesterday. I knew you'd get yourself back in here, mate. You just can't stay away, can you? I'm just joking, but everybody who's in here, thank you so much for joining. Do us a big favour. We're going to cover all the United news today. Do us a massive favour. Smash that like button. Give it a thumbs up. Let's see if we can get 100 likes on the stream. And give it a share also. Overfloater, how you doing there? Thank you for joining us. You too, mate. Okay, Sam says, when you look at Maguire, he seems like he's suffering from a massive trauma. Is the new psychologist doing anything for his case? Well, I still think he's working on drilling into that cranium at the moment, dude. Hey, but Sam, in all fairness, you bring up a really good point there with Harry. So Harry is almost like, if you ask me, he is Phil Jones 2.0. I've talked about this recently. He's very similar. I don't see how he's that much better. Okay, he does play for England right now. Okay, he had a good couple of international tournaments. But for United, he's been bang average. He's the captain, though. Okay, maybe he's a bit better than Phil Jones, technically, if you, from a defensive, clearing it away, slab point of view. And obviously his passing to get and all the rest of it. But really, he's just an expensive Phil Jones. We paid 80 million for him, and he's on huge money as well. I'm not too sure. I think he's on 180 a week. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Something like that. £180,000 a week Harry Maguire's on. You what? It's ridiculous. So if we were ever to sell Harry Maguire, imagine if we just had to have a fire sale tomorrow. I don't know. We need to sell lots of players and generate lots of money. And we tried to sell Harry Maguire. There's not going to be a queue very far around the corner for him. Let's be honest. He's on too much money at United for what he is. He's very bang average. And then 180k a week's like really top tier money for a centre-back there. So for him to be earning that sort of money is a disgrace, really. And if we were ever to try and sell him, it would be harder to get rid of him because he's on such huge money, which is not really justified for any other team to pay. They might be able to get near it. They might justify 150k a week, but I'm not sure. It's like we pay all of our players just a premium extra than what most other teams do, and I don't really understand why. So yes, I agree on that point about Harry Maguire. He's a disgrace. Let's get a hashtag Maguire out in there. Thank you, Banana Grapes. I mean, Roy Keane would be throwing punches at these guys if he was on the team, wouldn't he? He really would. Sports Further says, for the last 3 games, Fred was the best player, and he took Fred off and kept shit Scott on. Yeah, but to be fair, Sports Further, I totally agreed with that. You know why? Ragnick did the right thing there, because Fred was performing like an absolute ass clown. No disrespect. I mean, he was brilliant in the last 3 games. You're spot on. But in that first half, in that game, he must have given the ball away 1,000,000 times. Come on. He was fucking awful, and he deserved to be subbed off. As was Scott McTominay, though. You're right about that. Those 2 midfielders are just poor all round and don't really deserve to be playing. So I agree with that. But also, Fred was piss poor in that first half. He can't really defend that first half performance. He's giving it away all the time. So I thought actually Rangnick did a really good thing by showing that he's not accepting that performance, that level, because Fred's level, and also who else did he take off? Greenwood was completely transparent that game, wasn't in the game. He's made a couple of changes. He probably could have taken Rashford off as well, but he made a couple of changes at half time. He actually showed a bit of bottle to see a problem and make a change early. So I liked that about it. I didn't like the second half performance or how it went on at all. But I did like the fact that he'd identified a problem and he'd made an early change, because on the live stream when we were watching the game, we identified the same fucking problem. Fred and McTominay are letting the side down in midfield, just giving the ball away constantly, piss poor. Get him off. And also, Rashford was awful in that first half, and he did make a couple of changes. We got an update. Thank you very much, Rashford. Thank you very much, Rushmano, for getting in here. Really appreciate you getting a new update in here. Thank you so much. Okay, we've got an update here. Samuel Luckhurst says that Manchester United have still not made a final decision on whether to let Anthony Martial leave or not. I don't really know what the decision is. I mean, if there's a good enough offer, you've got to let him leave. He wants to leave. He's out of sorts. Surely Ralph Rangnick doesn't want an out of sorts player who's want away. Surely he'd rather get rid of him and be able to bring somebody else in maybe, or just use the other players rather than having somebody who's want away in the dressing room. So it doesn't make sense for us to keep him at all now. If there's a good enough offer that comes, surely we have to accept it, guys. I'll ask you guys, though. I mean, he is on big money. There's no guarantees that these clubs will reach the valuations in terms of wages that Manchester United are looking for. So do you actually think that Tony Martial does leave come the end of the January window? It might not happen at the start. I think it will. But sometime throughout the January window. Or do you think he stays until the end of the season? Stay or leave? What do you think actually happens? Because United are not just going to bend over and let him go for nout. But at the same time, if we can get most of his wages covered and maybe an option to buy in the future for Sevilla in the contract, not an obligation to buy, but just an option to buy, then that at least gets him off the books with maybe the possibility that he does well over there and they might want to take him come the summer window. So what do you guys think? Do you think he actually stays or leaves come the end of the January window? I would say that he's going to go because he doesn't want to play for us anymore. He said that is just, he said that in the media recently. Rangnick's also addressed the situation in the media recently and said as much. And so, it seems like it's just a no-brainer for me. We're just waiting for the correct offers to come in. There's also some understanding that maybe Barca have an interest still in bringing him in on a loan basis too, but it looks like Sevilla is the most realistic and the destination that Tony favours the most as well, because of playing time and game time and things like this. To be fair to Tony, he wants to play. I don't think this is out of any sort of vitriol or anything at all towards United. What it's down to is just the fact that he's not playing, he wants to play, and Sevilla's probably a good destination for him where he could play. Thank you, Rushmano. He says, subscribe to the channel. Yes, we're on our way to 50,000 subscribers, guys. Smash the like, smash the subscribe. Get yourself involved with the show. Okay, so no, because no one will match his wages, says Haroli. Good point. So you're a Spurs fan, Haroli. I don't know if you would disagree or not, but I would imagine Tony Martial would actually be a decent acquisition for Spurs. But would you be interested in him for 180k a week or whatever he's on? I mean, you just answered the question. You said no because no one will match his wages. So really, it's like, yeah, he's priced out the market a little bit because he's on too much money. United are going to have to accept a slightly lesser percentage of his wages, I think. Primot says, let him go for 10 million for fuck's sake. It's understood, though, at this moment in time, the club wants to have his valuation or the valuation they've put on him met, which is essentially, it's not really a valuation, it's a loan deal, but in terms of the wages. So they want all of his wages paid and a fee up front as well. I think it's asking a little bit too much. I mean, maybe just taking Martial on loan and paying all of his wages would be good enough, to be fair, because he's a big drain on the resources and he doesn't even play at United. Hey there, thank you, Gareth, United fan, for getting in here. Poss, he says, what's up, Pig? How are you today? Yeah, not too bad. Thank you for asking, Gareth. I hope you're good too. He says, Cavani needs to start and so does Sancho. Oh, dude. You know what? I feel really bad for Ronaldo that he got such shit service yesterday. Because if he'd have got better service, he could have had a decent game. Unfortunately, he just wasn't in the game because he didn't get the ball to him. I think his movement was good. I think he was still putting in the shift off the ball. Problem is, we couldn't get it to him. Cavani, obviously, up top there with Ronaldo, I think would offer us double penetration. It would offer us really great, two absolute awesome goal scorers at the top of the pitch there with that wily experience. And in a Rangnick system, I could see that working beautifully together. I don't really see why Rashford was started by Rangnick yesterday. Doesn't really make sense. He's been piss poor and just really disappointing for a while. So based on form, I'd have dropped him anyway. But Cavani would have made sense to come in there. He's experienced, he's chomping at the bit, he's raring to go. He always gives you 100%. That's what I love about Cavani. It's like there's links and talks of him going to Barca at this moment in time. Or somewhere else, you know, maybe he's not happy with the lack of game time that he's got at the club. And yet, whenever he comes on the pitch, he's still giving it his all, still scoring goals, still, making a big impact. And so you always know what you're going to get with Edinson Cavani. You're going to get a committed performance from him. Whereas some of the other players, you know, you just don't know. You don't know if they're going to turn up. You don't know if they're going to have a one eye on something else. You don't know if they're going to be, have a mental block that day, or they're just going to be, thinking of counting the pennies in their bank account, or whatever the fuck it is that distracts them from being top tier footballers. Because a lot of these players need to man the hell up. Some of them obviously performed yesterday, but very few. Most of them just were passive in that game. So, Cavani's never like that. Cavani always tries to affect the game. He's always running his feet ragged. And I've got no real problems with Cavani. From my opinion, we've got to keep hold of the guy. But there's another player that, there is links with a loan move in January. Manchester United should try their best to keep hold of him, in my opinion, because look at what he did yesterday. That's what he can provide you. He can provide you important goals at times, off the bench, whenever. But I would be starting him alongside Cristiano Ronaldo up top in a tandem too. I don't see why that would be a bad thing, especially if Cavani's got the emphasis to maybe drop a bit deeper out of the two of them sometimes and pick up the ball and hold it up a little bit. And obviously Ronaldo's playing on the last man a bit more, making moves in behind, runs in behind, and all the rest of it. I think that could work really well together. Cavani and Ronaldo together sounds like a combination that would score a lot of goals to me. I mean, I'll ask you guys in the live chat. So let's just say that Rangnick continues with a 2 up top system. How much, or should I rather I would say who do you think would be the best 2 players to play in that system? So there's a handful of players we could mention. Ronaldo, he's actually been, I guess, out of sorts. I don't think it's his fault, but I think, he's not exactly been, obviously, in form because he's not had the ball. So there's him, there's Cavani, there's Martial at this moment, there's Rashford, Greenwood, who can play up there, even Sancho. So let us know what you think is the best 2 up top that Manchester United can actually field right now. So let's say we're going into the FA Cup final or whatever. We're going into a big game. We're up against the big team, and we need to play 2 up top. I mean, it's Cavani and Ronaldo, in my opinion, because they're the most seasoned, experienced players, and they're still clearly both some of the biggest leaders in the side. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, I was watching Ronaldo's body language yesterday, and it was of a man who is just extremely disappointed with what's around him. That's what I got. I didn't get somebody who was pissed off with his own game, that was frustrated about how shit he's played. I didn't get that. I just sort of felt like, he's looking at people going, really? Really? This is it? He's trying to get the ball. But we couldn't get it to him. And so he's like, yes, give me it. Give me it here. Give me it here. And it's just 2 yards behind him. Oh, bollocks. Give me it here. Give me it here. It's 2 yards in front. It's like, it must be very frustrating from that point of view. And I think Cavani coming on as well, maybe he could, I don't know, I just think they could build up a really good understanding together because they're both extremely clever, intelligent, experienced footballers. Cavani's celebration says it all, says Max Arentz. Mamassini, hello, says Pig. What the fuck was that yesterday? I nearly barfed. It was a vomit fest, mate, yeah. Hey, we've smashed 50 likes on the stream. Get in there, my son. Thank you, everyone, for hitting the thumbs up button. We're on a bit earlier today than usual. Do us a favour and hit the like, though. Let's see if we can get this to 100 likes. Give it a share around and all that jazz. Big God Bob says, you'll never win anything with Melks, from Alan Hansen. Too many slab-ups this season. Oh, CCR, you had to do it, didn't you? Anyway, I'm going to get back onto him in a minute, but let's talk about Cavani a second. Yeah, that's crazy, Haroli. Martial's on more money than Son. I mean, that is ridiculous. Is that true, is it, Haroli? That is fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Tony Martial was on more money than Son Heung-min. Crikey. Time to cut our losses with Maguire. He has to go, says Raw Bullet. Yes. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about Cavani, then we'll talk about the slab. I can see there's a lot of stuff boiling over with that human slab of a tree man. But let's just talk about Cavani for a sec. Yep. So, who's your two up top? That's what I wanted to ask you guys. Gareth United fan says Cavani and Greenwood is his two up top. I can understand that, to be fair. Sam says Cavani's a real leader and a great man. He gives it his all. You can see on his face and his body language. Absolutely couldn't agree more with you. He actually seems to have a genuine passion for the game, and he seems to really like Manchester United. Okay, if United aren't going to provide him with games, then he might have to look elsewhere. But if we can offer him games, I'm sure he'll stay to the end of his contract. Makes no never mind to him. He's being paid well at United. The only motivating factor for him, I think, to go to somewhere like Barcelona right now, yeah, okay, it's cool to play in La Liga and add that as well. But also, just the fact that he would be maybe offered more game time there, which for a player like Cavani at the end of his career, when he loves the game, he's got the passion for the game still like a teenager, you can see it, then he wants to play. And if he's not going to play at United, then he probably should look to go somewhere else. All the more reason why United should try that tandem Ronaldo and Cavani combo up to the top of the pitch. Because I think, Cavani at the end of his career here, you're probably going to get one of the most committed Cavanis you could possibly get. There you go. Martial over Rashford, says Sheme Qureshi. I'm not so sure about that. You know what? They're both actually gash at the moment. So it's very hard to choose, but I'm not so sure about that. Rushy says we've got another Martial update. Thank you so much, Rushy, for keeping the updates coming in. What an absolute legend. Give me 2 seconds. Smoker's cough. So, we've got another update here on Tony Martial, by the way, guys. So, Laurie Whitwell here says Man United are happy to keep Anthony Martial beyond the January transfer window if their preferred times are not met. So, there you go. So, playing hardball as always. I don't see how that makes any sense. He's on such big money, you're costing yourself £600,000 a month regardless. So, at least if he goes out on loan, and even if you were to only get, say, 50% of his wages, at least he's only costing you £300,000 a month then. So it doesn't really make sense for United to take this stance. Although at this moment, it's all part of negotiations. Sevilla come in with a really low offer. United say, oh no, we want this really high amount with a big wage. You cover 100% of his wages and a big fee up front. And Sevilla come back and say, we'll meet you in the middle. That's the idea here. And I think that's what's going to happen over the next few days. I think it'll probably be somewhere in the region of, I don't know, they cover 80, 90% of his wages. United take a small hit on his wages and they give us some sort of small fee up front perhaps, or no fee at all, and they just pay most of his wages. I think that could be a very real possibility as well. So we'll just have to wait and see about that. But we have more news coming in here, actually. Thank you so much, Rushy, for getting this in. We've got some more news here. Anthony Martial may need to accept a pay cut to join Sevilla. So that's interesting. The opening loan offer has been rejected as only 70% of his wages are covered by the current numbers. But talks are still open for Sevilla to come back to the table. So that's from 90 Mins. This is a latest update. It's just coming a moment ago. And so that's the situation that we know as it is. So United have been offered basically a deal by Sevilla to take Tony Martial on loan to the end of the season with no option to buy. There's no option to buy, no fee up front, and only a percentage of his wages, somewhere in the region of 50 to 70%, which we believe is what's being offered right now. So that's the latest news. If you're just getting in here, thank you for the update there, Rashman. I appreciate you. Let me just have a look at this also. So this is what Rangnick obviously said about Tony. This is the quote from him. He says, this is ahead of the game against Newcastle. So before United's boss said, we spoke at length on Wednesday. He explained to me he's been at Manchester United now for the last 7 years, and he feels it's the right time for a change to go somewhere else. I think in a way, this is understandable. I could follow his thoughts, but on the other hand, it's also important to see the situation of the club. We have COVID times. We have free competitions in which we still have high ambitions and want to be as successful as we can be. He says, I told him, listen, as long as there is no club showing interest in you, and it should not only be in the interest of the player, it should also be in the interest of the club. So far as I know, there has been no offer from any other club. As long as this is the case, he will stay. So that was before the Newcastle game. That's what he said. Obviously now there has been a loan offer from Sevilla that's been put on the table. that it's not an acceptable offer. As Rangnick said there, it would have to be one that makes sense, not just for the player, but also for the club also. And at this moment in time, Sevilla's offer doesn't make enough sense for the club. So it has been rejected. But Ralph Rangnick, you can also read a little bit into what he said there. Like, we're not going to let this guy go easy because we've got a lot of games, a lot of competitions. He does need players to cover, to have extra squad depth. There is a lot of different games coming thick and fast, especially with COVID times, like he said. So do we even really want to let Tony go at this stage? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he would rather keep him, have extra cover in those wide positions until the end of the season and then sell him. Maybe that's what Rangnick would prefer to do. I personally think that we've got enough there to be able to deal without having Tony Marcial in the squad at all. Whatever we lose from him, we can gain from putting somebody else in there, whether it's Ahmad, whether it's Greenwood or hopefully Rashford. Saying that, Rashford's been shite recently, so there's no guarantees that he's going to continue to, or he's going to perform. But that's what Rangnick said about Tony Marcial before the game anyway. So in regards to him staying or going and whether or not Rangnick would let him go, he said if the situation changes and an offer comes in, then obviously we'll see what happens. So it seems like that he's resigned to the fact that he could lose Tony in this January window anyway, but he might not want to. Okay, so talks on progress, just some more information coming in here. Thank you, Rushmano, for giving us all the latest updates live throughout the show. So it's all kicking off with Tony this afternoon, guys. Talks in progress for Tony Marcial to Sevilla from United on loan. So Monchi is pushing to close the deal. So yes, so Sevilla are in the pole position to sign this guy at the moment. Talks ongoing. They want to try and get this deal closed soon to get him in at the start of the Jan window here. It looks like could be sooner rather than later. But also, like we've discussed, it's all cat and mouse now. So we're playing they're playing the negotiation game now. Obviously, they've gone in low, we're going high, and we'll meet somewhere in the middle, probably after a couple more offers have been rejected. That's sort of how United work. But hopefully he can go out on loan to Sevilla. I think it's a good fit for everybody. United get rid of a want-away player. Tony gets maybe to play some more football, and Sevilla get themselves a good player too for their standard, which is a very good standard to be fair. What is it, 4 Europa Leagues they won in recent times and stuff like that. They're a decent side, Sevilla. He'll be getting a good place to play his football. So I think that suits all parties. And also, like I said, it's a place for Tony where it's not a Barca or a huge football club where he's going to have so much competition for places. He's going to go in there and be one of the highest paid players and be expected to start, really. So for him, it makes sense. For us, it makes sense to save the money off the books and use that money to go and sign a midfielder. And when I say, use the money off the books, obviously we're not getting much up front for this guy, but still 150k a week saved is a huge amount of money to be able to justify maybe paying towards some other midfielder. And then you've got to generate a bit of cash to buy the player, but it's much more likely if you get a couple of players off the books. So Tony, see you later on, Tony. Bye-bye. No, in all fairness, listen, we discussed it earlier. This guy's done okay at times. 78 goals in 268 appearances. This guy's played 268 times for United. We've got to put a bit of respect on the name, but also at the same time, just never really lived up to it, has he? Just never really lived up to it. I'll ask you guys in the live chat because it's a fun little game then. Let's say Tony goes tomorrow. He's had his time at the club. He came when he was a teenager. He's the most expensive teenager in the world at the time. He's come here. He's done okay. He scored, what was it? Was it 78 goals? I'm doing him dirty there. It's 79 goals. 79 goals in 268 appearances, which for a wide player, like I say, is not a bad return at all. For a striker, it's pretty freaking shite. And he's only really been a true striker the last couple of seasons anyway. But for a wide player, he's had moments of real quality for United, I think, in the past. I remember when he first came in, he did sort of seem to set the world alight for a period and justify, the spend that Manchester United had outlaid. 79 in 268. He deserves some respect, but I'm going to ask you guys, rate his Manchester United performance over his career out of 10. Just rate his Manchester United contribution. So let's say, Scholes is a 10, Giggs is a 10, Keane's a 10, all these guys are 10. Jemba's a 1, right? That's the middle, that's the ground. That's the middle ground. So he's probably right bang in the middle, isn't he? He's probably a 5. 5 out of 10, Tony Marcial. That's what I would give him. He's never really shone. He's been too inconsistent for me to really get a place in my heart, really. He's too inconsistent. It's like some some mesmerizing stuff he'll do in one game, and then he'll go completely invisible for 2 or 3 games. So from that point of view, it's a disgrace. But give me your rating of his career at United out of 10. Let me know what you guys think. I'm giving him a 5 anyway. Oh, you guys, some of you guys being harsh. Jonathan Gallagher says 5. Cedric Burner says 4. Sam says 5. Solskjaer says 5.8. 6 says Gareth. 4 says Bob. 5.5 says 30 Sanchez. 4 to 10 says Overfloater. You what? Okay, so that's a significant. We all kind of agree then. We all kind of agree. He's been bang average. You know, he's been bang average. And that's the way it just is. So he's made only 10 appearances so far since Ralph Rangnick's... he's made 0 appearances Ralph Rangnick's come in and only 10 overall this season, so he's going to go. Ralph Rangnick, after the game yesterday, by the way, was not too happy. He said, I didn't like that performance at all. We didn't control the game apart from a few moments. He was pretty pissed off, wasn't happy with the display. Rightfully so. It was a shocker. He's going to have to drop a couple of these melts that we've talked about. People were getting on about Slabby Maguire a minute ago. So we might as well get on that, seeing as you guys were talking about it and wanted to discuss. Hashtag Maguire out. Honestly, that's it. I mean, if Ralph Rangnick starts him in the next game as captain, he's an idiot. Sorry to say. And I'm supporting Rangnick. I want him to do well at the club. But he's a fucking idiot if he starts Harry Maguire as centre-back. He was so bad in that game. You can't justify selecting him. He's been piss-poor in a lot of the previous games as well. He's out of form, and he's just not a good enough leader for United at the back. You know, we've had Varane come back into it, so what's the excuse of... You don't have to play Maguire now. We could play Varane plus somebody else. Bailly or Lindelof or Mengi even. Somebody else. Just give the opportunity to somebody else, somebody who deserves it. Somebody who's not letting the side down every single week. So, I really hope that Rangnick drops Maguire for the next game. Really hope that he does. He really needs to. Because if he doesn't, he's an idiot. Who should be captain, says Max Arentz? Anybody else, Max, other than Harry Maguire. No, in my opinion, it should be Ronaldo because he is the clutch GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. He's a great leader for previous clubs in his country. So why wouldn't we want that leadership quality at the top of the pitch? If not him, if you want to give it to somebody younger who's actually going to be the captain of United for maybe, 6-7 years, give it to Bruno Fernandes then. I know recently he's been shite, but overall as a leader, as a quality player, he's shown he's got the character, I think, to be a leader. I'm looking for leadership attributes here. I'm not talking about any other qualities. I'm just talking about leadership. He seems to have it. What about De Gea recently? Some of the things he's come out and said and how he performs consistently as well. I don't like goalkeepers as captains, but he's a much better candidate for captain than Slab. So the point I'm making is there's lots of different captain options. We don't have to have Maguire. Rangnick doesn't need to select Maguire as his captain, and he doesn't need to start him. The funny thing is, to me, is that Maguire should not be starting at centre-back based on form, never mind being a captain. So how can you have somebody who's the captain who shouldn't even be in the first team? It's redundant. It makes no sense. So, okay, you were the captain, but now seeing as you're actually not going to be in the first team, it's time to go as captain. That's what I would do. I would just take the captaincy off him and say, hey, look, I'm sorry, but we are going with a different look at the back. That's it. That's all you got to do. 59 likes, says Rushmano. Get in there, everyone. Smash the thumbs up button if you're just joining. Get yourself involved in the live chat. Everyone's allowed there. Say here, if you're new to the channel, hit that sub. Then you can get yourself chatting. You only need to be subscribed for 1 minute to have your say in the live chat. So get yourself involved in the chat. Smash the like, smash the subscribe and all that jazz. We have got a super chat here from Jonathan Gallagher. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat. Super chat. Hey, thank you very much there, Jonathan Gallagher. He says, not just Harry Maguire's fault. We have no leaders, says Jonathan Gallagher. We got some great leaders, mate. What about, have you ever heard of a little fellow called Cristiano Ronaldo? He's a bit of a leader, mate, not going to lie. Like, he's done some things in his career. You might have heard of him, Jonathan. He's a tremendous leader for his country, dragging them to the finals of the Euros. Obviously got injured in the final, but they went on to win it. He's a massive part of that. You might have heard of him, Jonathan. Also, there's a couple of other great leaders, much better than Harry Maguire. But no, to be fair, Jonathan, I know what you're saying. There's not enough good quality characters in the side of proper leaders. I agree with that. I mean, like Keno always says, it's like back in the day, they'd have almost marshalled themselves in the dressing room. Yeah, okay, Ferg and the staff, they're going to fucking be getting their hairdryer out. But definitely, Keno would be in there throwing punches at some of these players for these performances that they've had. So there is a lack of leaders in the club, and also a lot of the other players would be as well. You know, people like Scholesy and just everybody. Rio Ferdinand would be handing out digs in the dressing room if you were not reaching a certain standard. The manager Vidic. Think about Rio and Vidic and their mentality, their elite mentality, their leadership mentality. Both of them were great sort of, you know, great marshallers of the rest of the team. And you think about them and how different they are to Slabby Maguire. It's just sad. It's just sad that we've gone from that to this. Viking Red says Slab had been sold pig to Easter Island FC in January. Solskjaer says David is a United legend, but not goalkeeper captains. I agree with you on that one, Solskjaer99. Thank you, Jonathan Gallagher. Can we get a Sue emoji in there for Jonathan? Haroli comments and says, why wouldn't you give it to De Gea? That guy has been amazing lately. My only reservation about giving it to a goalkeeper is just the fact that, you know, from a communication point of view, obviously you need your captain to be getting into the ref sometimes, right? You need to, you know, your captain's supposed to be going to, you know, calm players down, talk to the ref a bit, try and win your fouls and all the rest of it. That's just part of the job, right? And if your goalkeeper's that person, then you lose something there, I think. But also you're not up the pitch to be able to discuss and communicate with your teammates as easily. That's my only major concern about it. Yeah, you can shout. Yeah, you can, you know, all the rest of it. But in a big stadium, big noisy stadium, I just personally think it's better if you're in the center of the pitch or a centre back who's moving up and down the pitch, so you can talk to different players. You can, you know, lead, and you can administer different things from the coach as well. They might, you know, have a little word in your ear on the sideline from time to time, and then it's just harder for the goalkeeper to do. I just don't like goalkeepers being the captain. It's not like he shouldn't be the captain based on what he's achieved here and what his role is in the squad, because he is one of the most consistent performers and definitely one of the best leaders in terms of demanding a certain level. So I totally agree with that, but also I just don't like goalkeepers being captain for that reason. Maguire is shambolic, says Overflow to 100%. Big time. The main issue with Maguire is that he shouldn't get the captaincy. That's why he looks unfazed, says Sam. He says he'll be better without it and play like a normal player. He isn't a leader, and that's it. Hey, you know what? What a great comment that is, Sam. You're spot on, Sam. What a great comment that is, mate. You know what? Actually, I think I could... Do you know what I could do here? Just realised. I don't know why I never do this. By the way, Sam, thank you so much for that. Hang on, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If I can do it in a second. Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I don't know why I don't do this, but I can just quite easily just highlight your comment here, mate. And just put it here. That's not it. There it is. No, that's not it. Here's Sam's comment. Right, nice one. That's good, mate. That's good. I don't know why I don't really do that. But anyway, he says, the main issue... I tried to set it up the other day, but it's a big palaver. You remember I had this on one of my videos the other day. We could select the comments, and it just was such a palaver setting up. Maybe this is easier. Sam says the main issue with Maguire is that he shouldn't have got the captaincy. That's why he looks unfazed. He'll be better without it and play like a normal player. He isn't a leader, and that's it. Not for everybody. Sam, what a great comment that is. And I've said this recently, and I actually do agree. If you actually look at how Maguire plays for England, because he's not the captain for England, is he? And obviously he performs a lot better standard because I don't think he's got so much of that emphasis on him to be the leader at the back. Maybe he's got a good partner with him, you know, for England. John Stones obviously does well alongside him as well. But I just think Maguire for England over the last few tournaments, you know, the last few years, the last two tournaments, has actually been very impressive. So I can't really fault him on an international stage. So you're right, Sam. Why can he not perform to that level for Manchester United? Why can't he reach that? Well, maybe it's the armband dragging him back. You've seen it a few times with players before. They can't live up to that expectation. They can't handle the armband. It's difficult, you know, because all the emphasis is on you to be the main leader. And also, it almost seems like a bit of a joke. Almost seems like a bit of a joke, actually, when you've got players like Ronaldo, who are really great senior players, who are 10 times the player that Harry Maguire is, being spoken to, you know, being organised, being rallied or whatever by the likes of Harry Maguire, some melt from fucking Sheffield, you know, who's played for Hull City, Sheffield United, Leicester City, hasn't won jack shit, really. You know, can you imagine if you're Ronaldo and you've got that slab giving you a rousing speech? You know what? I'd fucking love to hear one of Slabby Maguire's rousing speeches, I tell you. I bet it would be absolutely shit. Hey, what's going on there, Ellie? I hope you're doing well today. Happy Crimbo to you once again. Hope you had a great Christmas. How was your Christmas with the fam? G-Wolf will cry, says Ellie. Yeah, good. G-Wolf needs to come to the realization that Slabby Maguire's fucking awful. But anyway, as we were talking about, he's better without the armband, I think, at United. Maybe if you take it off of him, strip him from the captaincy, drop him from the game for a couple of games, maybe you'll see him return with a bit of passion, return with a bit of bollocks. But could you imagine a Slabby Maguire rousing dressing room speech? I can't even begin to imagine what that would look like, guys. I think it would be fucking depressing. Right, lads. So, yeah, we've been a bit piss poor in that first half. Come on, guys. We've got to step up. Come on. Let's go. I just can't imagine it really. He's just no. So, so that's my feelings on Maguire. It's time that he probably was dropped from the first team, stripped to the captaincy. Maybe you would see a better Maguire after that. Big Cop Bob says Keane would kick his slab off. Thank you, Ellie. Yes, mine was okay. Thanks. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty fat now, though. To be honest, but I'm still eating. I'm just going to eat myself into oblivion between now and the end of December. And then I'm going to get on it January 1st, But I'm going to eat myself into oblivion between now and then. What's up there, Mustang, for the win? How you doing there? Jeanette Pugh says, wrecking Ralph. Dan McGill says, problem is he won't be better without it. He would still get skinned and still make stupid decisions, end off enough excuses, armbands, viruses, left back, centre back, partner, keeper, midfielders. Hey, Dan McGill, fair play to you. You know what? I do somewhat disagree with you, Dan McGill. I just kind of think that, there's a very good chance that Harry Maguire would play a little bit better mentally if he didn't have the armband. Just think about it. He doesn't have that mental, responsibility maybe. There's some sort of mental block that happens with him. He seems to play with more freedom when he doesn't have the armband, is all I'm saying. And as it makes sense for a lot of players, some players are meant to lead and some players are meant to be led. And I think Harry Maguire is meant to be led. He's not meant to be a leader. He doesn't convince me out there that he's the right leader for Manchester United, whether it's from a vocal point of view or, sometimes recently he's been rallying the troops a little bit. You see it sometimes being winning fouls, like getting in the referee's face and barking at the referee and all that sort of stuff you want to see from him, Captain. I've seen it. He's not like he's completely devoid of leadership. He can do some of it, but his quality of play is let down by, I think, the fact maybe there's a mental responsibility on him for him to perform, and maybe that just makes him a little bit edgy. Honestly, I think if he didn't have the armband, had a bit more freedom, just from a mental point of view. I hear what you're saying. You're not going to stop him being absolutely slow and dash at the back. You're not going to stop him not being able to get a fucking leg in against St. Maxi and try and get some sort of block off yesterday. You're not going to stop any of that. But maybe from a mental point of view, it might just settle him a little bit more if he's not got that leadership, responsibility in the side. That's all I'm saying. But, hey, great comment there, Dan McGill. Thank you very much for getting in here, boss. Appreciate you. Drain some liquid out of his massive head. Meritocracy, says Sam. Get in there. Viking Red says Fergie had players die for United, not in international teams. Yeah, that's so true. Exactly. He'd often take players out of the international games as well with some bullshit injury and that kind of stuff. It was always United first, wasn't it? United first. Lindelof's better than Maguire, says Jeanette Pugh. I love your comment there, Jeanette. So, who is better out of Lindelof than Maguire, guys? I would say Lindelof has improved a heck of a lot over the last 6 months. This season, it's not even close. If you're asking me who's performed to a higher standard this season, it's definitely Victor Lindelof. Definitely Victor Lindelof. Maguire's made almost a catastrophic error every game. So definitely Victor. Haroni comments, just to let you know, Pigo, Son is on £140,000 a week compared to Martial's £250,000 a week. My goodness me. Well, there is some debate about how much Martial's on. Obviously, we don't know exactly. There's some debate for about 150k could be it, but then with bonuses and add-ons and all sorts of other stuff, anywhere up to 250. So you're spot on, Haroni. It could be there. But even so, Son Heung-min being on 140 grand a week is actually a joke. What is that guy's problem, by the way? Is he the most unambitious male ever? Didn't he just sign a new contract like in the summer? Correct me if I'm wrong. If it wasn't in the summer, it's pretty recently. It's like, hang on, Son Heung-min, you could go and play for pretty much anyone. I'm almost sure all of the top clubs in Europe would be interested in Son Heung-min. You could go and play somewhere, go and get trophies. He's not going to win any trophies at Spurs. He's only getting paid 140 grand a week. I tell you what, who is his agent? You know, I always go on about football agents being absolute toxic. His agent's shit, though. You know what I mean? Like, he needs a better agent, in all seriousness. That kid needs a better agent, mate. So, oh, nice already. Okay, yes. Hey, UG Outlaw, what's going on, mate? Says, how's everyone in the chat doing today? All good, brother. Thank you for getting in here. Hope you're well as well, mate. Festivities and all that to you. Kane is on 200k, says Herodi. Again, he could get way more money than that somewhere else. And again, he could have a higher chance of getting trophies somewhere else. I don't understand. I mean, Kane obviously wants to leave. He's come out in the summer. But I don't understand Son Heung-min's ambition staying at Spurs. I get it. There's loyalty. He loves the club. Like, you know, you could actually be wanted by most of the teams in Europe and try and maybe win some stuff. Varane and Lindelof always, says Jeanette Pugh. Rushminer says, subscribe to the channel. Yes, indeed, peeps. If it's your first time here, help us get to 50,000 subscribers. Also, give it a share around on Twitter or wherever. Tell your granny about it. Tell your friends about it. Tell your hated enemy about it. Whatever. Get the word out. Let it be known that the Flying Pig United channel here welcomes all comers. That sounded a bit wrong, didn't it? You know what I mean, though? That is an expression. That is an expression. So, let it be... Sorry, guys. Anyway, let it be known that we welcome everyone on this channel, as long as you're not a complete tool bag. So, do get yourself involved with the show. Smash the like as well. Help us out. Thank you very much, Gareth United. I appreciate that. Wiggy, how you doing, bro? He says, nice to see players not all about the money, though. Makes a change these days. And Southampton are winning 1-0. Yes, indeed. So we've got some early football matches on right now. Come on, Southampton. Ward-Prowse, get in there. Beating Tottenham 1-0 right now. Have it. Crystal Palace are 1-0 up against Norwich as well. West Ham are beating Watford 2-1 right now. But anyway, yeah. So a couple of early fixtures obviously being caught up with there. I thought I'd just jump on and do the United news, though. It's probably not the best time to do it. But you know what? Fuck it. It's breaking Martial news. Breaking Martial news. You'll share it on Grindr, says Big God Bob. Thank you so much. Hey, get in, UG Outlaw, doing good, playing some Warzone and watching the stream. Get in sounds like a recipe for success. The Harry Maguire halftime speech sounds like a comedy sketch. Mate, Harry Maguire leadership, could you imagine it? Dude, I mean, not the most inspirational fella to me anyway. That's just my opinion. Right, okay, so I want to get into a couple of things. So obviously this is from Romano here. Yeah, I forgot to show this earlier. But Ralph Rangnick clarified on Anthony Martial's plans to leave Man United. I understand him, but it should not only be in the interest of the player, it should also be in the interest of the club. So we'll have to wait and see if Manchester United's valuation of this guy is going to be met in terms of them offering to pay all of his wages for the loan. Also, just an update from Romano here. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic father, Nikolai, denies Man United and PSG links. There are always these rumours about Lazio. President Anita decided to keep him. Sergei's happy and he's prepared to stay. So anybody wondering about Milinkovic-Savic, there really isn't that much in that Milinkovic-Savic story. There is a little bit more in terms of players coming in the Kamara story and also maybe the Haidara story. Those are much more realistic acquisitions for United in January, but not Milinkovic-Savic, it seems, at this moment. What else did I want to discuss quickly before we get into the live chat for a bit of a Q&A? Okay, yes, so I don't know if you guys saw this, but GiveMeSport.com, there's a video of Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know who made the video. Let me just credit. Maybe it's... I'm not too sure. Oh, okay, it's just this guy called Legasus CR7 on Twitter made a video, and I talked about it yesterday in the game, but made a video of all the opportunities that Ronaldo could have had in that game yesterday. So his movement, him running into spaces, him running into different areas, you know, and it makes for horrible viewing, to be fair, because if you could get the ball to him, he would have opportunities. He would get the ball in the back of the net, I'm sure of it. But there's so many passes that were awry to him yesterday. It's like, I really feel for the guy. He's not getting the service and people are sort of doubting him. It's nothing to do with him. If you give the ball to the GOAT, he will do great things with it. Not every time, but most of the time. You know, he's that good. He is that good still. So, you know, but if you look at the actual ability of the team to get the ball to him yesterday, it was pathetic. So I just wanted to mention that because there's they just couldn't get the ball to him. His movement was fine. He was making the right runs in behind. He was hanging it back in pockets of space at the right time, and they still couldn't get the ball to him. So big problem that Manchester United have got, and it's not even Ronaldo's fault. It's not Ronaldo's fault. Right, okay. Also, so back to Tony Martial quickly before we get into the chat for a Q&A. Anthony wishes to leave the club in January. This is what Felipe Lamboni told Sky Sports News. He just needs to play. He doesn't want to stay in January. I'll speak to the club soon. This was obviously a while ago that he said this. So, we know the stance from his agent. We know the stance of Tony Martial. He wants to go. We know the stance of Rangnick now too. So United, if you're just joining us, United have rejected a loan offer from Sevilla. Too little wages and not a fee up front is what the deal has fallen down on, but it's just early negotiation stages. Tony Martial's wages will obviously complicate any sort of a deal as well. PSG are still interested in Paul Pogba, by the way, so remains possible that he signs a new deal at United, I suppose, but the most likely outcome, I think, is that he goes to PSG. We're not going to talk about that much today, but just that is still a thing. Paul Pogba heavily linked to PSG. Also, talks in progress still at this moment in time for Tony to Martial. That will be ongoing over the next day or so. That's basically it, guys. I think that's basically it. Let me just see if anything else has come in the last 10 or 15 minutes here. Chiesa reveals his football idols and heaps praise on Cristiano Ronaldo. So Juventus player Chiesa showing Ronaldo a lot of love. A lot of love. Real Madrid's interest in Paul Pogba is completely over, apparently, as well. Thank you so much, Rushmani, for giving us these latest updates. So any interest that Real Madrid had in Pogba, not likely. Okay, so also this is another interesting point we want to talk about. So Ahmad, we're talking about maybe he was going out on loan. So we know that Feyenoord were very interested in loaning him in the summer. It fell down due to him having a injury. But it does seem like Feyenoord might be coming back in for him in January. They'd like an option to buy at the end of it. United are not crazy on the idea, especially in my opinion. This should not happen now if Martial does go out on loan to Sevilla. You need to keep Ahmad around. What do you think about Ahmed, guys? I mean, I understand loaning him if he's not going to play. There's no point having him sat around. He could go and develop, so loan him from that point of view. But now Martial's gone, there might be just a couple more opportunities. What do you think about Ahmed, guys? Get it in the live chat. Keep or loan? Keep or loan? Would you rather keep him around the club till the end of the season, or would you loan him out and see if he develops? Hey, Jonathan Gallagher, thank you for the €2 super chat, mate. Get in there. Let's get a super chat in there for Jonathan. He comments and he says, Pig, how come it takes us, what's that? Takes us a goal down to wake up. Let me just highlight that, Jonathan. Thank you very much for the super chat, you Don. Appreciate it. So, hold on. Why does it, Pig, he says, Pig, how come it takes us to go a goal down to wake up? Because that's just the United way, mate. The United way used to be swashbuckling. It used to be quality. It used to be, tearing teams apart. Now, the United way, unfortunately, is coming back from behind. Coming back from behind, mate. That seems to be the United way now, and it's a disgrace, isn't it? I agree with you, mate. Hopefully it doesn't happen, continue to happen. Ralph Rangnick needs to get us to be that offensive, gegenpressive team, that takes the game to opposition, and we end up beating teams 5-0. If we are going to lose, we might lose a game, but most of the games we should be winning 5-0. That's how I look at United. Look at how Liverpool are and how Klopp are. That's how you should be. The gegenpressing system. You're playing an attacking style every single week. When you do win games, when you are better than the opposition, you fucking rip them apart. That's generally what they do. Manchester City do that as well. Those are the sorts of teams we should be trying to emulate in terms of, the approach and how we dominate games. You can't dominate all the games. Sometimes you're coming up against other great teams. That's fair enough. You've got to change your tactics. You've got to change your style. But for the most part, United should be a high-pressing attacking outfit that goes to beat teams and beat them well. That is what we should be. I think Rangnick will try and instill that into us over the next couple of weeks, of course, but so far, not so good, unfortunately. Thank you, Jonathan Gallagher, for the super chat. You absolute legend. I appreciate you. N. Castro says midfield is the issue. Absolutely. Fred in there, McTominay in there, stinking up the place, letting the side down, completely having a mare, mate. That's where the problem area is. We've got Donny, we've got Matic, who are probably both better options in the midfield for ball retention and stuff, but they're not mobile enough. What you need, I think, is, you look at some of the players that are linked to us, some of the younger players like Kamara and also Hyderia, they're good box-to-box players. They're good defensively as well. They're good on the ball. And so, all around, they're decent propositions for United to get and good options for the future. I don't know if they can come in and slot into United field and be the boss that we need right now. But in terms of having a bright future, they certainly look like great candidates for United. Whereas what we've got now, Fred is good destructive midfielder. He gets around, he buzzes around, he's quick, he gets stuck in, he gets challenges galore. He wins the ball back a lot. He's great interception-wise, but he's awful when it comes to certain things like passing, technical ability, goal scoring. You need a bit more from him. It's not good enough for United. In some areas, it's okay, but overall, not good enough. And then next to him, McTominay, again, a jack of all trades, master of none, this man. He's not brilliant at any one thing. And I think United needs somebody who's, a good quality player, good elite level potentially in the future. Not expecting us to go and sign, the best midfielder in the world right now, but just somebody who's got the potential to be the best in the future. That's what United should be looking for. You should be looking to try and reach that level. You shouldn't be just accepting mediocrity at this club. Jonathan Gallagher, thank you so much for the super chat there, bro. I really appreciate you. Zidane Iqbal, yes, must stay for the future, mate. Who knows? We've got lots of good youngsters. Elanga, could be another one. Jimmy Garner. There's some really good options for United in the future, which we should give opportunities to. Rushmano says we got 74 likes. We can do better than that, guys. Let's hit 100. Smash that like button if you're just joining. Get your thoughts and opinions in. I'm going to get into the Q&A now for 10 or 15 minutes. Get your thoughts and opinions in on anything we've discussed in this video. Just to let you know, if you just joined, obviously Tony Marcio is a big target for Sevilla on loan this window. Probably will happen, but as of right now, United have rejected an offer which is too low in terms of covering Tony's wages and no fee up front from Sevilla at the moment. So negotiations are ongoing. That's the situation with Tony. Mamasini says, yeah, midfield is what's terribly wrong. I agree, because everything's built off that midfield, really, in terms of going forward, getting into attack. It's all well and good winning the ball back. Like I say, Fred and McTominay, they can do that. But in terms of actually being able to get it forward, create to a good enough standard, often enough, it doesn't work. And then I'll tell you what doesn't help is somebody like Bruno Fernandes playing so poorly. He needs to step up too, because that's a big link in our team that we're missing right now. We used to rely on him massively to create for us. His assist stats are fantastic since he's joined the club. Just recently, he's gone off the boil. And I think, obviously, having that midfield behind him doesn't help him. But him being poor on top of those guys being poor means that the whole thing just is a complete mess. It's all well and good when Bruno's saving the rest of them, picking the ball up and creating chances. But when his passing's sloppy as well, when he's not when he's not keeping on the ball well and giving it to the opposition a lot of the time, then United we completely crumble. So it's a combination of the whole midfield there. It's not just Fred and McTominay. Bruno's been poor recently too, and he needs to do better. But if we had a better base to build off all our attacking phases, then we would be much better. Think about it. Back in the day, Carrick picks it up in front of the back line. He gets his head up. He sprays a diagonal pass across the pitch, gets us going down the wing. We need somebody that can do that a bit more consistent. Who's got the ability to be a playmaker in a deep line role, but also is box to box and defensive minded. So, it's not the easiest thing. I think you almost see, I don't know if you saw this yesterday, you see it a lot. And you saw it a lot under Solskjaer. It was very reminiscent of what Solskjaer was doing in regards to instructions for Harry Maguire. So Maguire, obviously, he almost takes the mantle of the deep line playmaker in the team. And Lindelof does as well when he's playing. But yesterday, you see, obviously Maguire, he's getting forward. He's spraying those balls around. Only problem is that he's really fucking slow. And so when there is a counter-attack or a break or whatever, he seems to be a little bit higher up because he's come forward to try and spray the ball out, play it out from the back, right? Which is fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that's bad. He's a good passer of the ball, Maguire, to be fair. But why can't we have the midfielder do that? Why isn't Maguire just simply giving it to the boss creator midfielder? The reason is that Fred and McTominay can't fucking pass to save their lives. In all fairness, not to the standard that Maguire can, and not to the standard that Lindelof can, who are the centre backs, not to the standard also that Bruno or any of the midfielders can, really. They're kind of bang average passers of the ball, really. McTominay can pass the ball. I'm not saying they can't pass. I'm just saying to a consistent enough level, being able to play make from that midfield role, they can't do it. So Maguire does it. I think it's tantamount to having a fucking, left back come and take the goalkeeper's goal kicks on the youth football because he can't fucking take the goal kick, mate. It's tantamount to that. It's like we need somebody who can fucking take the ball from midfield and take it forward and create either with a pass or by taking the ball forward. Not just having somebody, somebody come up from centre back to play the playmaking balls and then leave us maybe slightly exposed because he's so fucking slow. So I would imagine it would make sense to get a proper CDM who's box to box but can pass the ball, that can actually pass. You know, not Fred who gives it away, or McTominay who's too inconsistent too. And you're right, Ahmed Galami. United players do lack the mental strength. I agree with that. You know, we need more leaders. We need more belief in the team. We need better, big bollock characters in there. Viking Red says, Pigmate, plus who sanctioned this £80 million for Maguire? Must have been Mick P. He's still here lingering. Well, it's that Ed Woodward idiot. You know what I mean? Hey, Rushmano, hey, get in there, my son. Look at this. Rushmano, thank you so much for a highlighted member comment here. He's been a member for 25 months. Guys, can we get a massive love heart in the live chat for Rushy? That is absolutely amazing. For 25 months, this guy has been a member of the channel. That is a long time. Thank you so much, Rushmano. So, really appreciate you, my friend. He says, who is at fault? The players or the board offering stupid wages? Hashtag Glazers out. Fantastic point you bring up there. It's obviously the board. It's not the players' fault, you know. It's not the players' fault that these stupid idiots would give them the wages, these ridiculous astronomical wages, and price them out the market, is it? We'd all be loving it if it happened to us. But you're absolutely right, Rashmano. It is the board. The board are idiots. People like Woodward giving people like Alexis Sanchez 500k, or Phil Jones what he's on, Martial what he's on, Maguire what he's on. All of the players that we've had at United have been paid ridiculous amounts of money. Probably most of them shouldn't have got anywhere near what they actually have. So it's a very good point you bring up, Rashmano. Guys, let's get a hashtag 25 months in the live chat. That's fucking amazing. I really appreciate you supporting the channel for all that time. Honestly, that is amazing. Rashmano, thank you so much, boss. What a legend. And what a great point you bring up too. Hashtag Glazers out in the live chat. Come on. Because let's be honest, this is all caused from those twats. Let's be totally honest. I know it's a boring topic really, but thank you very much, Mustafa Naveed. Get in there. Sim comments, can anyone explain what is Fletcher doing on the sideline? Has Rangnick got no balls just to tell him to piss off? Well, Rangnick's only just come in, mate. You know, I'm starting to feel like, well, we'll find out in the next couple of weeks what sort of impact Rangnick's going to have. But I'm starting to feel like he is literally a classic interim manager. And what I mean by that is they don't want to give him, like, too much freedoms. Like, as in, I don't know if he's got... Because look, he's still got Slabby Maguire as the captain. Now, if he was here really long-term, if it was a long-term, which we know it's not, it's just a 6 months interim capacity going into a consultancy role afterwards. If he was able to make long-term decisions, then maybe he would have sacked off Slabby, or maybe he's just decided to keep him because he didn't want to upset the status quo. But maybe he'd done something like that. Maybe he would have, just taken the emphasis off of him and given it to somebody else in terms of the captaincy. I don't know. I just feel like he's avoided a couple of the key decisions. That's what I think. I think he's avoided a couple of key decisions early on. And I don't know if he's got all that much say in terms of, like you say, sideline rank, in regards to Fletcher. Maybe he's just not thinking about sacking off staff, sacking off coaches, sacking off this sort of stuff until he knows he's got the job after this interim capacity. Because why ruffle all the feathers? Why upset the staff? Why upset why do that if you're all going to be gone in the summer anyway? So I don't know. I don't know how much freedoms he's actually got to do things like that. I hope more than the average manager at the club, which I think he does, because like I say, he wouldn't have come. He said he wouldn't have come if he wasn't given certain assurances. So we'll see. Hashtag Maguire in, says Gangster Times. Guys, we're on our way to 100 likes. Do smash that thumbs up if you're just joining us. That would help us out. If you want to support the show, please do. The easiest way to do that is by hitting that like button. It's free to like. And also it gives us a boost up there on the YouTube algorithm and helps us compete against the clickbait merchants and also the corporation wank bags. So do get your support on the channel by smashing that thumbs up, and also give it a subscribe if you're new to the channel. Give it a share. We'll bring you all the latest Man United news as and when it happens over this next January window in regards to the transfers, the daily goings on, in a no bullshit way as well. So do get yourself involved. Jaden Capolina says, for me, Fred out, McTominay out, Maguire out, Lindelof out, Sancho out, Tellez out. Those players aren't good enough. Really? I think that's harsh, Jaden. Sancho, I actually thought was one of the players to impress me in the game yesterday. When I say impress, I don't mean impress like set the world alight, but he came on, he skinned a couple of players, he created a couple of chances. Didn't he create the chance for the goal? Who got our assist? Who got our assist yesterday? But anyway, I actually thought Sancho did well. He only came on in the second half of the game. And before that, the few games before that, he's actually done pretty well. So I sort of agree with what you're saying. I don't agree with Telles, and I don't agree with Sancho. I think those guys have actually performed reasonably well over the last 4 or 5 games. In regards to what you said about the other players, though, yes, I do agree. I'm not sure who got the assist for the goal, actually. So it doesn't say. But there you go. So, oh yeah, well, it wouldn't say because it was a rebound from Cavani's shot. So essentially, there was no assist. It was from a rebound. But whoever put the ball in from the right initially for Cavani's initial shot, pretty sure that was Jadon. Okay, so you feel sorry for Ragnick, says Christopher Tolly. In what way? Hey, Larchu Mupu says, who's winning the title? It's probably going to be City again, mate, in my opinion. Just going to be honest. Just probably what I think. Michael Dubell says, Ralph said in the post-match, roughly translated, this team's full of bottlers. Yeah, he did, didn't he? Absolutely. He's certainly very disappointed in the effort and the lack and just the gashness, basically. K Slater 23, how are you doing? Says hashtag Glazers out, hashtag bored out, hashtag Roy Keane in. I'd be throwing punches at this board if I was in the dressing room. Thank you so much, K Slater, for getting in here, my friend. Nice one, Rushmano. Even the tea lady out, says Big God Bob. It's the manager's tactics not working, says Arsenal Manic. Ah, shut it. Oh, Arsenal Manic now suddenly loves Mikel Arteta again, does he? No, listen. The manager's tactics not working. Okay, that might be the case, but it's not the case. I think it's about a transition here. Okay, they might have not worked, but we have been playing Ollie ball for the last couple of seasons in a different mentality, and maybe it's had a bit of a hangover. Then again, Rangnick's had a bit of time now. You would expect to see a little bit more closer towards what we're trying to work to in that performance against Newcastle than we did. I'd say that's fair. So, yeah, disappointed. That was just a stinker of a game, man. From the off, that first half was a disgrace. We created no chances. They dominated us. St. Maxi ripped us apart down the left. It was a filth display for United in the first 45. And the second half wasn't that much better either. In the end, quite fortunate to get the draw because De Gea saved us a couple of times and Cavani clutched that goal for us. Other than that, we were second best in most departments. And I think that the large area of the team where we really looked poor was that midfield. Fred and McTominay were so bad, and Bruno was terrible too. If those guys, if they could be replaced with more consistent performance, I'm not saying Bruno, but right now he is playing poor. But if Fred and McTominay could be replaced with more consistent performers, better players, we'd be a much better team instantly. They're just bang average players. Thank you, Mustay, for the win. Now the players are great. Thank you, Mustafa Naveed, says Pig in. Udin number 1, thank you, Udin. He says we're only 500 subscribers away to hit 50k. Come on, let's hit it for the piggy before 2022. From a subscriber and a gooner. Udin number 1, thank you for being a long-time viewer, mate. Obviously, been here a long time. I appreciate you watching and getting your thoughts in. Fair enough, dude. Thank you so much, though. Yeah, only 500 away, guys. So do hit the sub if you're new and smash the like, too. Get in there, Udin number 1. Appreciate that comment, mate. In fact, I'm going to put that on the screen there, bro. Thank you very much. But also, big love to Matty Rushmano, 25 months a member. What a freaking hero that is. Honestly, that is amazing. Okay, so there you go. Udin number 1, thank you very much. Only 500 subs to hit 50k. Get in there, my son. Hopefully we can do it before the end of the year. It's going to take some doing. I doubt it myself, but you never know. You never know, mate. You just never know. All right, Razor's dad says, Pig, I'm going to put some dirt in Ralph's eye. Well, good luck to you on that one. Cool Homie says, you were doing it also earlier, says Arsenal Manic. Arsenal Manic, steady on now. Most of the players are world class. We getting Neves in January, says Primot. I haven't heard anything about Neves, actually, Primot. I would like Ruben Neves. Smash a 1 in the live chat, guys, if you would take Ruben Neves at United. I would like him, but I haven't heard anything about him right now. I think it's difficult to convince Wolves to let him go mid-season, but it's also United will have to pay a decent premium to get him. I don't know how long's left on his contract and all that rest of the information, but I think we should go in for something like that, but I don't see us doing it. I see us probably shopping around for a cheaper player in the Jan window. I think, you look at Haidara, I believe he's got a release clause of 32 million euros or something like that. And then also Kamara, that other player we're talking about, the 21-year-old French lad. He's supposed to be available for somewhere around about £10 million. So you look at the money United spent in the summer, you consider how much of a shithouse bunch of cash owners the Glazers are and their lack of really willing to invest properly. I would imagine they don't want to spend too much money in January. So I don't see them going to spend a 40 or 50 million pound on a player in Jan. I think they'll probably spend 10 or 20 or something like that if they can to bring somebody in. That's my opinion, though. I don't know. We may see lots of players leave in January, and it would free up a lot of cash on the books, but we also might generate a little bit of money for the transfer kitty. So Lingard could go. Cavani could go, maybe. I don't want him to, but he could go. Henderson could go somewhere, either on loan or transfer. Martial looks likely to go. There's a couple of other players as well. So, it's possible United do a bit of business in departures in January and maybe do sign one sort of marquee midfielder. But I think it's going to be a younger player myself. Or not that Neves is old, he's actually pretty young himself, but I mean like a younger, less established player in the Premier League, like reputation-wise as well. So just cheaper. Thank you, Larchu. He doesn't fit in the system, says Arsenal Manic. Viking Red says Spurs 1-1. Look, Bruno doesn't always play for Portugal. There's a reason behind it, says Sam. Southampton down to 10. Well, listen, I've seen it with my own eyes how good Bruno is for United. Since he came in that January window, he was literally setting the world alight as our best player for a full 18 months. But it has to be said, recently he's gone off the boil and he needs to step up. But, the old adage is true, guys. It's definitely true. Form's temporary, class is permanent. And he is a class player. You can see that. He is out of form right now. But he's not, you can't say, 18 months of form, now he's actually shit. No, he was so solid in like Kevin De Bruyne levels of assists and, insane amounts of goals for Manchester United over the last couple of years. It's just all gone wrong this season because it's gone wrong for the whole squad, I think. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly, Rushman. He says priority is players out first. Yeah, that's right. The Glazers want to get some of these guys off the books. And also we need to. Like, we do have too many players on the books who shouldn't be here. Martial's on too much money. Phil Jones is a gash player. I don't think he's going anywhere, but we should probably try and get rid of him. Harry Maguire, in my opinion, shouldn't be a United player. You've also got, McTominay and Fred. They're bang average, really. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to get sold. They won't get sold. But we should expect better at United. You go on and get Declan Rice. Why not spending the cash wisely instead of paying a lot for outcasts? Sam, yeah, fair enough. Well, Declan Rice is an option as well. And he's young, he's decent, but he's a lot of money. They want something like 80 or 90 million pounds for that guy. And we've only got Jesse Lingard as a bargaining chip, and he's got a few months left on his contract. He's only worth a couple of mil now. So I just really don't see us going to get Declan Rice in January or even in the summer because it's going to cost so much money, of which United are not prepared to pay for a player like that, nor which we should pay for a player like that, to be fair. Rice is actually a really good player, and I think he's going to have a bright future in the game, and he will ready to do what he's doing at 22 is actually pretty amazing, and he's clearly a great player. But 80, 90 million pounds, you're slapping an extra 30 million on there just because he's English, which pisses me off. I think we could probably spend our money better elsewhere. He's basically he's got the potential to be another Slappington Maguire signing, that guy. Banana Grapes, thank you for the love hearts. Appreciate you. AK says sell Lee, Hendo, Jones, Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Rashford, Mata, Lingard, Pereira. None of them are good enough. Fair point. Wow. Okay, that brings me on to my next point. Thank you so much, AK. So Rashford's performance last night was disgraceful, wasn't it? What a gash display from him. I wanted him ripped off at half-time. Rangnick kept the guy on, and I don't know why, but he did keep him on second half, and he continued. Well, actually, he played a bit better in the second half. He did play a couple of nice passes, but he's still not influencing the game like we want him to. Not a match winner. Not really looking good with any of his touches, or just not really at the races at the moment. So for me, he should be dropped from the team. But actually, I think he does have a future at United. But I'll ask you guys, Rashford, is he good enough? Simple as that. Rashford, is he good enough? Yes or no? I'm not talking about right now based on form, because all of the players looking shit, Bruno and etc. But do you actually think Rashford is the answer for that left wing position? On the left side of the pitch or at the top of the pitch there. Is he the answer? Yes or no? It's a maybe, isn't it? It's a maybe, isn't it? Because, you look at some of the top, I've said this recently as well, but you look at some of the top tier players in the world and how they develop from the age of 17 to 24. Rashford's what, 24 now? 23? He's 24. Okay, just turned 24 in October. So, I'm sorry to say, but development-wise, it's been good, but it's not been great. Like, look at the development of somebody like Kylian Mbappe. Look at the development of somebody like Erling Haaland. Look at the development of somebody like Messi, Ronaldo, Rooney. Rashford's way behind, to be fair. He is way behind. I still think he can go on and do great things in the game and be a great player, but he's 24 now, and he's done well in his career, but he's not he's not those levels. He's not that level of player. He's not ever going to be like, I don't know if he's ever going to be one of the top players in the world, but I think he could definitely be a great player for Manchester United for the whole of his career. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, he's still got age on his side. He's only 24 end of the day. Rashford needs to make better passing decisions. Yes, absolutely, Chai Man. Kingslayer says, but he really, really needs to step up his game to improve. He's the same player he was 2 years ago. Great comment there as well. I have to admit that I agree with you there, Kingslayer. He hasn't developed much in those 2 years. In fact, you know, if anything, he's gone backwards in some ways. You know, Solskjaer's development of him towards the last year or so, it's not really helped him. I don't know. He seemed to play him a lot of times when he was injured. He had a back injury. He was playing him with some sort of little knocks and things like that sometimes because we had to. We needed him. And he performed pretty well for him. But he was played somewhat injured. And then he's obviously had a surgery on his back, I believe. And then he's come back from that. And to be fair, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because he did have a major surgery. And coming back from that takes a little bit of time. He's had plenty of time now to recover. And he's playing regularly. So he should be playing to a higher standard. But he's not hit the levels that he has done previously since he's had his surgery. Maybe that's something to do with it. Maybe he just needs to find his flow again. Solskjaer and the team were struggling this season. That doesn't help. He's got the qualities. He's definitely more of a prospect, more of a possibility to reach the heights of the game than Tony Martial, I think, though. So, you know, that's my opinion. I kind of think that, yes, it's a possibility he might do really well in the future, or he could just end up being a bit of a Danny Welbeck. You know, it's just like I'm undecided about him at the moment. He's got a lot of the qualities that I like. He seems like a great person on and off the pitch. But his actual, progress, it hasn't taken place in the last couple of years. Where's the progress? We haven't seen him progress. We haven't seen him step up and be like a match winner like a Kylian Mbappe or a Haaland is. Or, just develop like one of these great young players that we've seen previously come through at United. Yeah, absolutely, Larch. You sort it out, mate. You're going to get timed out. 21 Nick P says, Pig, it's because he has a knighthood. The club won't get him gone. We stuck with him, says 21 Nick P. Well, interesting. Fair enough. A knighthood? I think Josie took better care of Rashford, says Usher Mashladov. Maybe so. Yes, okay, maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, to be fair, obviously, yeah, Louis brought him through, didn't he? Jose did pretty well. I mean, obviously, Rangnick's only just come in, guys. We've got to give him a bit of a chance here to get the best out of Rashford and some of these players. Hey there, Kingdoms, Kingdom85. He says, hey, dude, glad to catch this live. Hey, thank you so much, Kingdom. I appreciate you getting in there. I really do. Get in there, my son. Welcome in the stream. Hey, we're only 2 likes away from 100 likes. Come on, get in there, my son. We're almost finished with this stream today anyway. I just wanted to jump on and give you the latest Martial news in case you had missed it. It's just been announced today. Mustafa, do a pack opening. That'll be later, sir. That'll be later. Hey, TJS, one of the channel member legends, he says, saw Coutinho may be out of Barcelona. Would United be interested in the former Scouse scummer? I wouldn't be. I'll ask the chat. Coutinho, would you take him, yes or no? I know he's a quality player, but he's on big money. United don't want to pay that guy the sort of money that he's on right now. We also don't need another player in that position, if you ask me. Right now, we need to focus on deeper midfielders. We need to focus on defensive-minded midfielders and even a centre-back, really, because Maguire's shite. So I wouldn't even bother with Coutinho at all because he's not the right fit for us for position or anything. He was doing other stuff off the pitch, fair enough, but if you want to be on top of your game, you've got to focus on the game 200%, says Sam. Yes and no. Yes and no. You've got to have some other things beyond football outside of the game, and especially if those things are going to be positive, like helping feed the country's children, I'd say, fair play to him. I don't see how that's going to hinder him. But, I can understand if he's spending all of his time doing that, but I think there's a balance that he can have there. Pig, we should give Ralph more time, but do we have enough time for top 4? Ushler, we should be able to get top 4. I think we're going to finish 4th this season. It's early days for Ralph, mate. Of course Ralph needs time. We've got to give Ralph time. Of course we should give Ralph time. It's not even a debate, is it, Usher, mate? He's only just come in out a couple of days. He needs time. You can't expect miracles in a short space. I think what it does further highlight, though, it's easy to say this afterwards, and we've all changed our opinions at some point. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, maybe he was done dirty. Maybe if the players were not so gash, maybe if, let's say, Varane didn't get injured, Hell, maybe even if we didn't sign Ronaldo, no joke, maybe if we did not sign Ronaldo and he was allowed to spend money on a midfielder instead, maybe Ole Gunnar would still be in the job right now and we'd be all pretty happy. I'm not even joking. I think there's a couple of things that went really wrong for Ole here. That's a lot of the players are shit. The fact that he's stuck with people like Slabby and Fred, etc., he shouldn't have done. He made mistakes, don't get me wrong. But, when you actually think about how bad these players are looking now under Rangnick as well, it almost vindicates Ole just that little bit. The fact that these players are shit now still. Sometimes you see a manager leave. Remember when Jose left Chelsea for the second time? They were doing so bad. As soon as he left, the players, Eden Hazard turns into the best player in the world again. They just instantly click again as soon as Jose's gone. Well, that's not what's happened this time, really. That first game it seemed to, but since then it's not been the case at all. So actually, it's not as easy as it's cracked up to be, is it, trying to get this United side playing well? It's really not as easy as it's cracked up to be. And certain players are not good enough. Certain problems, like Varane being injured is a big loss to Ole at the time. And also Cristiano Ronaldo coming in maybe just affected and changed the emphasis of the team just that little bit too much at the wrong time. Even though Ronaldo's the GOAT, he's the clutch GOAT and all the rest of it, it just upset the status quo a little bit at the club. I think those two major points, Varane getting injured, Ronaldo coming in, which in the end, obviously, it's a good thing, but for Ole, I think it's a bad thing. Those two things, I think, led to him getting sacked off. But there you go. Matata says, at least Ole smiled. Ralph is so boring. I don't know about that. Ralph's early days, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. I've got to keep a bit of faith in him. But at the same time, man, I'm holding my judgment on him. End of the day, he's never had a big job like United. RB Leipzig is not a big job like United, mate. Lokomotiv Moscow ain't a big job like United. And he was only a sporting technical director there or whatever. Anyway, it's different. It's a totally different animal. It's a hard job for anybody. You could take Sir Alex Ferguson in his prime right now, chuck him into this United side. It's not going to be as easy as it was when he was the manager previously. You could stick him in his prime in there. He's going to struggle to get the best out of fucking Fred and McTominay. And also, probably, struggle to compete with the fact that you've got Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, all these teams that are just better now. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Mamacini, thank you so much for the €5 super chat. Really appreciate it. Hey, we smashed 100 likes. Ooh. Thank you, everyone, for smashing the thumbs up button. I really appreciate the support of the channel. Nice one. Continue to hit those likes and hit that subscribe and get your thoughts in for a few minutes while we stick around here. Mamacini, thank you so much for the super chat, boss. Mamacini says some players look way too off since those losses versus Liverpool and City. Like they're more in need of psychologists than a manager. Yeah, really great point. Confidence, look at people like Bruno, Maguire. You're absolutely right. Confidence is shot. I'm totally with you on that one, Mamacini. Yeah. Oh, well, that's what Ralph Rangnick did. He did hire a sports psychologist, didn't he? So, doesn't seem to be doing much work so far. But Mamacini, thank you so much for that one. Really appreciate it. Griffo Chaz says if we didn't sign Ronaldo, we would be in the Europa League right now. I actually disagree, Griffo. I think we were playing as a better team, before Ronaldo's come. So I don't think it's Ronaldo's fault that we're not playing great football right now. Like I say, he wasn't getting the service to him at all yesterday. But I think the emphasis changed on the team and maybe psychologically for some of the players, such as someone like Bruno Fernandes, who went from being this huge leader in our team to almost being a bit of a passive melt because Ronaldo's at the top. Maybe it's not because of that. Maybe it's just a coincidence. But I actually feel like Ronaldo coming into the team instead of a midfielder in the summer, it actually really did hurt us. I think if we'd have got a midfielder, just gone with Cavani up top, we'd probably been better off this year. But hey, I'm so happy we got Ronaldo here. Don't get me wrong. It's about making it work. But I was just making the point that, at the time when Solskjaer was in a key moment for his job at United, if we hadn't have gone for him and we'd gone with a different option in the summer, and maybe obviously Varane didn't get injured, we'd have probably been all right. Okay, if we don't get Champions League, Bruno and Ronaldo will leave, says Rupert Meadows. Steve Hall says, update, Pig. We've got an update, have we? Hang on a second. Update. Oh, okay. Let's have a look at this. Oh, wow. Oh, interesting. Wow, okay. Look at this. So Eric Bailly's coming back into it. Thank you so much, by the way, for your super chat there. I really appreciate you, Mamacini. Get in there. Also, we've got another super chat here. Sorry, 2 seconds. We've got another super chat here from another legend. Wait a sec. Which is Flash, thank you very much, Flash, for getting in here with your super chat, boss. I'll just get that up on the screen. Appreciate you very much so. Everyone, get in there with a cheeky little super chat emoji for Flash. Flash with a $5 super chat says, when I'm down or tired, I feel much better. Keep it up. Oh, wait, hang on a sec. Let me actually read that out properly. When I'm down or tired, I put on Piggy, and I feel much more better. Keep it up, brother. You're a good and funny lad. Get in there, Flash. What a nice message, mate. Come on. Get in there, my son. Let's be having you. Flash, thank you so much. Let's get a massive love heart in there for Flash. What a lovely comment, mate. Thank you for the $5 as well. Get in there, Flash. Glad to be of service, my friend. Nice one. Okay. So I want to highlight this, guys. I want to show you this piece of news that we've just got come through in regards to Eric Bailly. So we need to talk about this, guys, real quick before we get off the stream. So United Report, credit to them on Twitter here. Mike McGrath, this is via Mike McGrath. Eric Bailly is coming home from the Ivory Coast here is flown back from the Ivory Coast to be part of Manchester United's preparations for the game against Burnley. He was granted permission to fly back to prepare for AFCON, but has been recalled. Wow. So if that's pretty big news, which basically, in my opinion, if Eric Bailly is coming back from the Ivory Coast, then he's going to be playing in the next game against Burnley alongside Varane, surely. Surely it's going to be Bailly and Varane, and Maguire's getting dropped, mate, like he absolutely should. Hashtag Maguire out, guys. Hashtag Maguire out. Flash with the love heart. Thank you so much, Flash. That's very kind. What a legend. Maguire dropped. Yes, hashtag Maguire dropped. Let's go. Musty for the win. Let's hope so, mate. Eric Bailly flown back from the Ivory Coast to part of MUFC's preparations for the game against Burnley. He was granted permission to fly back to prepare for AFCON, but has been recalled. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good news. Defo says Usher match the draft. Yes. Maguire out. Out big time, says Usher. Right then, guys. Okay, well, it's been a great stream. I'm going to wrap this one up there. Once again, thank you to Flash there, and also Mamasini. Thank you, Rushmano. Everybody else, who's watched the stream and got in there. That's the latest news in regards to Martial. I'm going to wrap it up there. I will be back later on with more goings on at the club if there is anything. Thank you, UG Outlaws. There's 106 likes. Get it, brother. Thank you so much, UG, for watching the stream as well, even though you don't like football. That's looking awesome. What a legend, mate. Get in there. Rupert Meadow, Alejandro Troche, Matata, Usher, Michael, Jonathan, Rupert, Sam, everybody else as well. I really, really appreciate you getting in here. Thank you so much for tuning in. You see, that's what this community is about. It's so fucking welcome in here. You don't even have to really be that much of a fan of football, mate, to get involved with the community and feel the love. Sam, get in there. Must stay. Everyone else as well. That's it from me. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like before you go. Smash the subscribe button on the video. If you're new, hit the subscribe. Also, get yourself following us on social media. We're at Flying Pig United on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Flying Pig United. Check out the website, unitedflyinghigh.com as well for your United latest news. Thank you, Rupert Meadow. Thank you, Mustaine. No worries, Primot says thanks for the report, Pigo. Smashed it as always. Thank you so much, dude. TJ, have a great day. See you later. Matata United, take it easy. Ashley Bailey. Kira McKenna looks like Curtin from this country. Lindelof has COVID also. By his cover. All right, Rashman. Okay, I hope not. I hope Maguire dropped, son. I really hope Maguire dropped. Bailly needs to come in there. Bailly needs to come in and play alongside Varane. Forget Maguire. He's useless. UG Outlaw, Sue. Get in, Mamasini. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gareth United as well. Another Wicked Stream Pig. Well, keep it up the amazing work. Thank you so much there, Gareth. Appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you so much for the comment. Great show. Thank you, Rushmano, Matata, Mustaine. That's it from me then, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Keep a lookout for all the latest vids on United. We'll bring you the latest news as and when it happens. No clickbait, no bullshit. Just the latest news as and when it drops. So get your thoughts and opinions in after the video's finished as well. Come back, have your say in the not live comments. There's a little bell icon there. Click the bell. That'll get you a notification when we post and go live, which is every single day. See you, Wiggy. See you, Rushy. See you, Sam. Bob as well. Arsenal Manic. Everyone else as well. Appreciate it. As always, thanks for tuning in. This is The Pig. I'm out of here. Take it easy.